Today we are going to look at how to do the behavior project. This is going to be 100 points, and the reason for that is there's lots of tiny little details. So we're going to go through in this video all the tiny little details that will get you to that 100 points. So this document is called Behavior Project Directions, so if you would like to reference it as you work, which I strongly recommend you do, it is there for your use. Please be aware there are a couple examples. If you directly copy those examples, I will not give you credit. Okay, so step number 1, go onto your iPad, choose either Keynote, or if you're more comfortable with it, you can choose Google Slides or PowerPoint. And I would like you to create a presentation and pick a theme. So I'm going to do this with you, and I'm going to pick this one. And second, we are going to set up our slides. And the reason for that is it's easier to create a presentation if you have all of the outline done first. So we are going to start with a cover, and let's just label this Behavior Project. Please ensure that your name is on it somewhere. I know it'll be submitted from you, but it's a grading thing. So please get your name on there somewhere. Our second slide we are going to have blank for now. We're going to put a concept map in it, so for the time being, just add a slide and put on their concept map so that it's ready to go when we get to it. Okay, slide number 3. So make a new one. By the way, feel free to pause the video at any time so you can get this done. We are going to do 2 slides for innate behavior. I will explain later what needs to go on all of these, so like I said, for now, just add it in. We need 2 slides like that, so let's do a second one, also labeled innate behavior. So you should be up to 4 slides at this time. Now, add another one. We're going to do 2 slides for learned behavior. Let's label those as such. I'm just going to copy that. There's my second one. And 2 slides for social behavior. And do that one again. And then last, we'll need a works cited page. Okay, so word of wisdom before we continue. Be copying down the URLs for your works cited page as you go. It is so much more work if you wait till the end. So just keep that handy. You should have 9 slides all set up. So let's head back to the first one. You've got your cover slide. Please make sure you have the title, like Behavior Project. Make sure your name's on it. If you're online, don't worry about the class hour. If you're in person, please put your class hour. And the date. We are going to have this due on May, let me see. Well, it depends on your class. So look at Schoology, it'll tell you. Bam. All right. What I'd like you to put on here is a picture of your favorite animal. So you're going to go over to here, add a picture somewhere on here. Let's put your favorite animal of all time and put that on there, and then you're done with that slide. Then we'll move on to the big concept map. Now this is where I start to lose people. What we're trying to do here is get all of the behaviors we've talked about and kind of summarize them. And so what I want you to do is start with behavior in the middle. This concept map, they're all behaviors. And remember when we did notes, we did innate behaviors first. So we're going to do a branch off of behavior and say innate. And we had 3 types of innate behaviors. So you're going to do a concept map that includes those 3. Then we did survival values. And we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things that come off of survival values. Then we did learned behavior. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. And then one more branch for social behavior, courtship, territoriality, can't say it today, and dominance hierarchy. So there's lots of apps you can use to make this. You could choose Notability, you can use Poplet. Poplet's pretty fun, it's pretty easy to use as well. could do total recall. You could do mind vector. They're all really helpful and easy to use. So you're going to create this. And the only difference between what you're going to turn in and what you see here is that they need to be color coded for each section of behavior. So make sure the learned behaviors are all one color. Make sure the innate and survival are all one color. Make sure social is all one color. And then move on. The next is the biggest part of the final grade for this project. We are going to do this 5th step 3 times. And we're going to do it once for innate behaviors, once for learned behaviors, and once for social behaviors. So below is what you need on each set of slides. So I had you create on here 2 slides for each type of behavior. So in our innate behavior slide 1, we're going to go back to our big concept map here, and we are going to copy what we have here and paste it onto our first innate behavior slide. Then highlight the specific behavior you're going to use for your example on the next slide. So the next slide is going to look like this. We picked out an innate behavior and we're going to talk about it and explain how it is indeed an innate behavior. So for now, this one is a fixed action pattern, so I'm going to highlight fixed action pattern, put that in my first slide for innate behavior, and then I'm going to put the bulk of the information on the next one. So this next section there's a lot. So if you want to spread it out onto another slide, that is perfectly fine with me. Just make sure it has the following 8 things. So you'll need a heading, which we should have already put in. We need a brief definition of those types of behaviors. So we're defining, in this case, innate behavior. Number 3, state the subtype of behavior you will use as your example. And this slide is using the fixed action pattern. So I'm just going to say example, fixed action pattern. Then I'm going to define fixed action pattern here. Now if you had chosen, say, reflex, your definition would definitely be different. Please add a picture of the species you are going to use as your example, because you need to find an example online. So this example is the gray-legged goose, which has a scientific name of Anser. And so remember, when you write scientific names, the first word is capitalized, the second word is lowercase, and they need to be underlined or in italics. So make sure you do that. It's usually easiest to give it the common name like gray-legged goose, and then in parentheses put the scientific name. Make sure you italicize it. So we have the name of our species that we're using as an example. Then we're going to explain what does that species do specifically that is an example of that type of behavior. So in this case, the gray-legged goose rolls an egg back into their nest to protect it from danger. She will continue this behavior until she gets back to the nest, even if the egg rolls away. That whole thing is my description of an example of a fixed action pattern. So if all you wrote is series of movements that will continue to completion, it doesn't really count. That's the definition. It doesn't describe the example. Then last but not least, please link to a video or animation that shows this particular behavior occurring, whatever behavior you pick. And ideally, because we want you to get some practice making presentations look really nice, instead of just copy-pasting the URL, you'll need to rename it. And depending on which program you're using, your process on doing that is going to be a little different. So I can't tell you in this video how to do that. But if you just Google up how to change link to a different name, you'll be able to figure it out. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things. So that would do it for innate behavior. And like I said, if it's getting too squishy, feel free to put it on another slide if you want. So we're going to do that set of things, both the concept map and this stuff here, for innate, for learned, and for social behaviors. So you'll end up with 6 to 9 slides for this portion. And then lastly, make sure you've been keeping track of your Works Cited page. And then before you finish, please make sure your slides are in order, make sure your links are renamed, make sure they work, make sure each example has a picture and the scientific name. And do let me know if you get stuck. I would be happy to help.